Hello and welcome to Communicate with Power. I'm Barry McLoughlin,
I'm Laura Peck.
and we are jointly president and vice president of a company called TLC Transformational Leadership Consultants. And we are leadership communication specialists. I'm just catching people up who may be wondering, who are these two? And I think I've totally lost count of the numbers, but probably something in the neighborhood of 20 of these episodes. And we keep it fairly informal. We're always interested in your input, by the way. So please click where you can there and to subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. Well, lots happened in the past week. We're back from Cape Breton Island, where we taught at the Cape Breton University, Shannon School of Business, and we taught a program there called Get Your Message Across in an Age of Uncertainty. And that's one of the themes of today's session, uncertainty.
Well, we certainly saw one big one last night.
Yeah. But before we even get to that, let's talk about another uncertainty. We went to a British pub.
We did.
To watch the England versus Argentina World Cup match. And I have to say, we don't often do that, but wow, that was an amazing experience.
It was fun, yeah.
And you were cheering for whom, Laura?
Oh, definitely. I was UK the whole way.
Got to be England though, because
it was
Scotland.
England.
They're not for Scotland. Not Wales.
Yeah.
So
I know for the Irish.
Well, actually, I went in there and I was asking Barry, "Where are you from?" I decided to mask it slightly by saying, "Well, I'm actually born in the UK."
Yeah.
So it is true. I was born in Northern Ireland, and that is part of the UK. And by the way, right behind us there is the UK High Commissioner. That's where he lives.
They put the invite out.
Yeah. So when the High Commissioner UK lives next door to you, you have to kind of lean a little in that direction. But I do self-identify as Irish, as everybody knows.
For sure.
The
Irish are so funny about England.
Oh my God.
Not winning.
So anyway, we had a blast. We sat with some young people who invited us to their table.
Yeah.
I have to say, in that one English goal, I have never been in a room that had a deafening roar. I mean, that expression comes from that. It was so loud, I thought my ears were going to split. It was amazing. And they know all these things to do when
I can't repeat some of the
but
I've never heard the word wanker.
Like Messi,
wanker.
okay, yeah, exactly. So when Messi gets the ball for Argentina, by the way, he's an amazing player. They start chanting wanker, wanker.
Or when the FIFA officials come
on. Whenever the president of FIFA. Oh my God. So it is interesting the way they, all of that goes with it. It was a thoroughly enjoyable afternoon, and we are looking forward to on Sunday going to downtown Ottawa in the Byward Market, where Spain versus Argentina is being shown on the big screens, and we're looking forward to being part of that.
We'll be rooting for Spain.
Oh yeah, because it's a Spanish event.
Yeah.
Are we crazy?
Yeah.
So we won't be going, for Argentina, and we love these.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Yeah. Okay. So, our fingers are crossed for Spain. We do hope. All right. So that was one event. It was certainly a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I love this documentary about Erling Haaland. My gosh, that Norwegian. He is amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit worried about him too, because he's only 25. And he's buying all these Hermes purses, and they're like $40,000-$50,000. And he also just bought for his hometown this $1 million exceptionally rare book. So that's a good thing to
now.
Give
why
back.
are we worried about a guy like that?
Oh, Teddy,
I'm kind of missing that one
because his burn rate is so high.
Oh.
He's a father. He's got a child. Well, when you're burning through that, we have coached athletes who have burnt through a fortune early on in life.
Yeah.
And then, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm
but
a
look
worried
who
person.
Has become a real World Cup fan as well.
And
Teddy.
This is the doggy splash pad back here.
Oh yeah, we should mention that.
Yeah.
Which he won't go near. So I think we have it for the adults. I don't know. But anyway, so
Yeah.
Teddy, yeah, the splash pad he kind of ignores because he
Yeah.
thinks water. Wait a minute, bath? No, but it's just a splash pad because your dog doesn't have to go in a pool. And anyway, I'm very happy we got it anyway. We'll see if we can gradually coach him into it. So, Laura, a big thing happened on television, our television screens last night. Huge. Well, actually, it was heavily promoted by the White House. This
Yeah.
was going to be the revelation behind the stealing of the 2020 election.
Yeah.
And he's relitigating it again and again and again. And it's very interesting because I guess he's targeting what would be known in the political communications world as the low information voter. So he's trying to reach those that pay, not that much attention. They heard of this, isn't it terrible? Oh, the Chinese trying to steal the election. Poor Biden, he should have won that. Of course, I'm thinking, what an idiot, frankly, because he'd have been out of office for the past 2 years. So why is he moaning that he lost that election? Like it's hard to kind of, square, other than he wants to set the rules for the interim and then, the midterms as well as then the next presidential
Well,
election.
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
He wants them to pass a bill, Save America, which
Save
will
America
totally upend all of the election machines. And then all of the people that audit they're all gone. He got rid of so many of these committees or agencies that oversee elections because he lost 60 cases
before different courts right across America. He couldn't get one court that would say, yes, there's enough evidence to proceed here. Not one. And there was poor, Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Sweeney, whatever, they're going around trying desperately to get some court to recognize them. They spoke to legislatures across the country. Not one of them, many of them even Republican-led, would really give them time of day because there was no evidence.
And there are registered Republicans that don't agree with this either because we met them.
Yeah.
They are afraid to get shot in their own cities.
So the president last night said, go on whitehouse.gov and take a look. So I go on there. Whoops. You have to put in your email to join.
So you can't even research.
I didn't want to do that because I think that's we're going to search, and so I didn't do that, but I saw by other means, a number of documents heavily redacted. You're learning nothing new out of this one, okay? So, and you got to be very careful with Dominion because the only one that ran it live turned out to be Fox News, and even when they discussed it, they really clammed up because they lost a civil case against Dominion, the ones that make all the voting machines, Canadian enterprise, I believe, and they lost $787.5 million judgment. Because they really alleged things that were completely false. Duh. So in the end, the only one I really believed, last night was the guy running the
teleprompter.
The teleprompter.
He made $100,000 betting on the speech.
Yeah, so everybody
can't make this up.
The great
folks.
thing about this White House is everybody's in on the scam. So you've got even the
grift.
guy operating the system there. He's kind of thinking, I can make some money on this. I just predict that the president will use this word or this phrase, and I can, so he can bet on anything, as you know. So the bottom line is, but he wasn't doing the telecast. They had to take him off it last night. So he'll be looking for a pardon somewhere down the road, I'm sure. Anyway,
is he the same guy that the teleprompter didn't work at all when the State of the Union address happened a couple of years ago? Remember that?
I'm not sure about that. But in the end, we're in a situation where that was massive disinformation once again from President Trump. So because we teach a course called Get Your Message Across in an Age of Uncertainty, one of the uncertainty elements that drive uncertainty is massive amounts of disinformation online. And it is interesting as to why somebody like President Trump would continue to offer ongoing, never-ending disinformation with zero actual proof to it. Well, it turns out that our idea of communications is, you have to have proof, you have to have verifiable facts, you have to have evidence to back you up. Well, of course not. You don't need that. You don't need that at all. So, yeah, In the end, we've got a situation where, disinformation doesn't need any of that, because if you have the passion, if you have the constantly repeated message, if you got low information people that don't really read through things in detail or understand them, it's not that we're all smart and they're all stupid. It's just that they're busy people with their lives. They're busy. They don't have time to examine all these things. And they used to trust him. And there's a certain percentage, of course, that still do. So I'm not blaming them for accepting a lot of this disinformation. And it does work to a certain extent, or it wouldn't be continued, underway by the White House. So, in the end, what will it ultimately lead to? Well, I think the reaction to last night was so negative. Apparently, he's very angry. All secondhand stuff. He's very angry about the reaction to it. He doesn't feel that it was, respected by the listeners and viewers. That that he was mad at the networks. Only Fox ran it live. All the rest of them said, we need to verify and check before we put that out there. Which, by the way, Laura, I thought was an amazing thing that the networks chose not to run it live when normally it's done. So Trump wasn't able to command it because they had a deep suspicion, well grounded over the past 6 years, that it may not be at all true and it may not be anything new. Sure enough, that's pretty well how it turned out. So I'm just saying, what's he going to try next? I thought it was a great way not to get into Epstein stuff, just change the channel on that. Well, and of course, you said it already, which was, the Save America Act, as he's calling it, which has all kind of remedies for
but he can't get the Republicans on side.
No, he needs he needs
they don't want
he's losing a handful of votes all the time, which is not allowing him to get over the top. So in the end, this disinformation campaign, it does continue, it will continue, but the more he does it, the more the eyeballs roll. I mean, this is like the reflecting pool in front of the Lincoln Memorial. It's turned a strange color. People are looking at that like, what kind of a ridiculous atrocity is this? And I think some of his things, like he's doing last night, seem to feed into this, that he's had a really bad run. Let's face it, the past month, he's had a bad run. Although, going ahead with that helipad on the lawn to get him there, big helicopters, he's going to be able to land there. He's going to be able to have the ballroom with some kind of a secret thing underneath it. He's going to get that pool somehow figured out. He's going to have to actually get somebody that knows what they're doing. Imagine that. He's going to have to maybe put it out to tender, not some guy that he knew. That he said, I never even ever put one of these in. I have no idea how to do that. So this is the guy that he's spent $14 million of taxpayer money on. So, he's had a bad run. So the question is, do you keep going with this, or do you just get serious? Don't put America into more and more wars. Stop, flip-flopping. One day you're going to charge tolls in the Strait of Hormuz. The next day you have to abandon it. On and on and on. It leaves us then with the ultimate disinformation for Canadians right now is the Gordie Howe Bridge. Now, for our friends in Detroit, and we do have friends in Detroit, I can understand the situation from their perspective that, they're embarrassed. We talked to them. They're embarrassed about this. They know what the deal was. They know that the millionaire Maroon family were putting, money into play, let's say, that would ensure that whatever happens, they get the benefit of it. Canada, under Prime Minister Harper, and then with Gary Doer as the ambassador from Canada to the United States, he actually decided, okay, had enough. We're going to use Canadian money from beginning to end to build the darn thing, open it, run it, and get it back through tolls. Well, this has become complicated now because once Trump pulled the plug on the opening and wants to, quote, renegotiate it, meaning he wants to somehow find his way to get money out of it, even though they put no money into it. Sure enough, Mark Carney did strike a deal, which has hit him politically kind of negatively. People aren't quite understanding what he's saying. Now, he's a governor of 2 national banks. So I think he totally understands what he's saying, which is, that there's going to be a 50-50 split on the revenue. That's
Yeah.
true. Here's the problem. The first 10 years or so will all be costs. There won't be any net profit to be split. It's gross. It's the gross payment, not the net payment. So for the first 10 years, the countries are going to split it, in effect, get nothing out of it. And then maybe eventually there'll be some reasonable net at the end of the year.
It's sort of like those two young guys that do the detailing. The mom bought all of the equipment because I asked them, because I can, I know overhead. And so those guys, they did the actual work. So we Canadians, we paid for everything.
Yeah.
But the deal is that even when the bridge is running, we're going to split the costs 50-50.
Well, but here's the problem.
And then we'll get a little bit of money in 10 years.
Eventually, yeah. But here's okay. So people are legitimately asking, why did Mark Carney do this deal? Well, he could sit there, because when you're dealing with a guy like Trump, he would keep it closed for the remainder of his term. Keep it closed. No skin off his nose. Keep it closed. So there's no benefit there, because every day has interest. Every day has increased costs with no revenue coming in at all. It's hurting us in terms of back and forth, as it is for the American travelers, back and forth, truckers, and so on. So he decided, well, hold your nose and do it, even though it's not the deal that was originally struck. So he has taken a mature approach, in my view. All right, let's just strike the deal, get her underway, and let's not keep on this charade going. So in late July, it will open, and I think Gordie Howe's memory will be saved out of all of this.
And by the way, I got to say that the mom did the right thing by buying the equipment, because those two kids did a great job. So I doubt that she'll see a penny back, but I got to say the kids did a great job.
Okay, who are those?
The guys that came to detail the vehicle.
Oh, yeah, okay. Our vehicle,
they call it detailing.
Detailing,
I call it car washing.
And they did a darn good job.
They did.
And it'd be a job I wouldn't be doing.
But they had the fanciest equipment
but you know what?
I've ever seen.
They were great.
They were amazing.
Yeah.
They were fantastic.
So I'm very happy that occurred, by the way.
Yeah.
And this guy here, he's just happy now finally to have us here in the backyard.
Yeah.
So the final thing we do want to bring up, Laura, is that we are hard at work on developing new courses.
We are.
We ran a number of new courses, that new media.
Yeah.
How do you, dealing with podcasts and various new media interviews and so on that are very different from traditional media. We got a course in that. We've been doing that. We've had several major other courses that we've been running that really are getting at the world of uncertainty a lot more deeply. And so watch out. Somewhere you'll hear more information on all of these.
Great reaction from the people who have taken those courses.
Yeah. We are happy about that.
Market seems to be
So are we going to have time off this summer? That's what everybody wants to know, including me and Teddy.
Well, Teddy is,
I think we'll have a few days here and there.
Here and there.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Don't forget to click submit, subscribe. We'd love you to subscribe. All the best, and have a great summer to everybody out there.
And if you have any questions or topics you want us to discuss, we're interested, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you.